Imagine you just moved into a new home, and the previous owners left some bamboo growing out front. They warned you that bamboo can grow pretty fast. You consider cutting some of it down, but you think you can handle it. It's just some bamboo, what could go wrong? A week passes and the bamboo is flourishing more than you expected. It's already pushing its way into your newly transplanted, award-winning rose bushes, and you quickly find yourself regretting leaving the bamboo unchecked. You try to cut some of it down, but the more the bamboo grows, the faster it expands. If you'd cut some of it down at the start, or knew how much you needed to regularly cut it back when you moved in, you probably would have been fine. But now, your yard is being colonized by pandas. Loans can work in a similar way. Large loans accrue more interest than small ones, so if possible, we can make them more manageable by paying as much as we can up front. And understanding how to efficiently track your loans can help keep them in check. That way, they don't grow out of control. I'm Jason Guglielmo, and this is Study Hall Real World College Math. Last episode, we helped triplets Sonia, Maria, and Malika navigate their amortized loans. These are loans that accrue compound interest while you pay them off regularly. That means we can represent amortized loans by combining our equations for compound interest and annuities, which we also talked more about last episode. Now, the sisters were tired of renting cars to do their food deliveries and thought they could save money by buying cars. So that got them in the market for new wheels, but after doing the calculations to find how much car loans would cost, they weren't exactly happy with how much interest they would end up paying. Malika even thought about paying off the loan faster with a higher monthly payment just to lower her total interest. Surely there must be a way to keep them from paying so much interest. Right now, it seems like it's growing too fast. It turns out, before they went to the car dealership, the sisters were already hustling hard with their food deliveries, driving back and forth all over the city, delivering Filipino food, bagels, and even a gourmet cake for a dog that one time. They each managed to save $4,000 as a down payment for their cars. A down payment is a lump of money you can pay up front for a purchase so you don't have to borrow as much money from the bank. And last episode, Sonia and Malika were each quoted $18,000 as the cost of each car. But with their $4,000 down payments, they'll only need a loan for $14,000. Already, a $14,000 loan is a much easier number to stomach. Since interest is calculated as a percentage of the principal, a smaller principal will accrue less total interest in the same amount of time. And their monthly payments should be cheaper since they'll have a smaller amount of money they need to borrow. But let's focus on Sonia for a minute and throw our new principal into our monthly payment equation from last episode to be sure. Remember, with a bit of algebra, we reworked our amortized loan equation to get the m by itself on one side. The principal value for the loan goes from $18,000 to $14,000, so P equals 14,000. Sonia is still approved for the annual interest rate of 6%, so R equals 0.06, and she agrees to pay her loan in 4 years, so T equals 4. Then, with monthly payments and the interest being compounded monthly, which means the interest is broken into 12 equal portions for each month, N equals 12. Doing those calculations, to pay back the loan, Sonia will have to put down their down payment and then pay $328.79 every month for 4 years. So in the end, they'll have paid $4,000 as a down payment, plus $15,782 to pay off their loan. And if we subtract their principal, they'll end up paying $1,782 in interest. That's about $500 less interest than they would have paid without a down payment. So by putting that $4,000 down to start, they'll save $500 on their car. Now let's fast forward 1 month. Their car payment portal shows an outstanding balance of $14,000, and it's time for them to make their first payment. After connecting their checking account, they submitted a payment of $328.79 exactly. Nothing more, nothing less. But once the payment was posted, it looked like they submitted less. Their account balance went from $14,000 to about $13,741. That's $70 less than what they actually submitted. Here's some insider info though. A loan account will show you the principal amount you have to pay back, but it usually won't show you how much interest you owe for each payment. And with each payment, you first pay however much interest has accrued so far, then chip away at your principal. And after the first month of the loan's life, it's already accrued $70 worth of baggage. Interest. But using some quick arithmetic, we can work backwards to try to figure out why the interest is $70 and if it will always be $70 every month. Since interest is usually calculated as a percentage of the principal, let's start by figuring out what percentage $70 is out of 14,000. That comes to 0.005 or 0.5%. That doesn't look familiar, but we have to remember that this $70 was the interest for 1 month. And if we divide our overall annual interest rate by 12, we get 0.5%. In fact, we could have found out how much interest we owed this first month using what we already know about calculating interest. Basically, since we hadn't made any payments yet, we multiply the interest rate times the principal, then divide by 12 to figure out how much we owe for 1 month, which gives us $70. That means even though the monthly payment is about $329, only $258 of that is going towards the outstanding principal balance. This is why some folks stress about finding a good interest rate for the loan instead of stressing over the total amount of the loan. The lower the interest rate, the quicker you can pay the loan back without paying too much extra. Now, when Sonia's payment is due the next month, they make the same monthly payment. But their outstanding principal balance goes down $260, which is different from before. Remember, this is a compound interest situation. So each month, the interest is calculated based on how much they currently owe. Using the same interest calculation, this time we multiply $13,741.21 times 0.06 and divide by 12 to get that the interest payment this month is $68.71. This means that of their $328.79 monthly payment, $68.71 goes towards paying interest, and $260.08 goes towards paying down the principal. What we're doing here are the first steps we might take to create an amortization schedule, which some lenders and websites create to help us keep track of how much of each payment goes towards the principal versus the interest. It's a chart or table that breaks down your payments for as long as the loan exists. But we can also create an amortization schedule ourselves. For instance, Malika, Maria, and Sonia would like to know how much interest they're paying each month versus how much of their principal they're paying off. So Malika creates a spreadsheet to help keep track of all the changing values. Her first column tracks the month the payment is due, and the second column tracks the minimum monthly payments, which will always be the same for all 4 years since that's what they agreed to. Now that monthly payment can be broken into 2 parts, which we can track in the third and fourth columns. Column 3 shows them how much of their monthly payment will go towards paying the bank interest, and column 4 shows how much of their monthly payment goes towards their principal. Since the interest column depends on what the last month's principal value was, it will change every month. So this spreadsheet will also need to keep track of the principal balance that is left over after each payment. That's what the fifth column is for. Fortunately, she's a bit of a spreadsheet connoisseur, and Malika figures she can automate 3 of the calculations in her spreadsheet to save time. She starts by breaking down their third monthly payment. First, the interest for their third payment is calculated by multiplying how much of the principal they have left after payment 2 by the annual interest rate and then dividing by 12 to make it a monthly payment, like we did by hand before. Now it's a spreadsheet formula that fills in the cells in column 3. The second automation is breaking up their monthly payment into 2 parts. The automation she just set up calculates the chunk that goes towards interest. So we want the cells in column 4 to take the monthly payment and subtract whatever we've calculated in the cells next door in column 3 to show how much each month goes towards chipping away at the principal. And the last automation shows how much of the principal is left over. So each month it takes the remaining principal balance and subtracts the monthly payment minus however much went to interest. This number is in column 4. Looking over the amortization schedule Malika built, Sonia points out how over the life of the loan, the amount of each payment that goes towards the interest decreases and the amount that goes towards the principal increases. And that makes sense because the interest is proportional to the principal, which they're slowly chipping away at month by month. They could also use this spreadsheet to adjust their monthly payments and see how that affects the timescale of the loan. After all, the faster they pay, the less interest they accrue. So, if the sisters keep their hustle going, delivering food to hungry patrons, they should hopefully be able to pay off their first car sooner than 4 years and can use that saved interest for something like a nice vacation. Over the last 2 episodes, we've talked about amortized loans from different angles. How to find your monthly payments with and without a down payment, finding total interest paid from making regular payments towards a loan, and how to keep track of your payments by using an amortization schedule. Basically, if you take anything away from our finance unit, it's that your finances are a garden that needs to be tended to. I'm not even joking. Understanding how to take care of a garden will help it flourish while also preventing any unwanted plants from spiraling out of control. And understanding how loans work and how to adjust them for your own needs and goals gives you the power to maximize savings and avoid financial catastrophes. Maybe you'll even save up enough to buy your dog its own luxury birthday cake. Thanks for watching Study Hall Real World College Math, which is produced by Arizona State University and the Crash Course team at Complexly. If you like this video, give us a like and subscribe. You can learn more about ASU and the videos produced by Crash Course in the links in the description. See you next time.